Ooh, we're going live. Ooh, get ready. Here we go. So, welcome to Blockchain Brunch. Hello, everybody. This is where the alpha is fresh, the coffee is strong, and the hiring tea is hot. I'm Emily, the crypto recruiter, and every week we dive into what's happening in the Web3 job market, the trends, the talent, and the truth behind who's actually hiring. So, we've got a lot to talk about today. I've got comments live on the screen. So when you comment, it's going to be on our video. So go ahead, leave a comment with a question. We've had a lot of people reach out recently, always, with a lot of resume advice requests, LinkedIn auditing requests, and I've invited all of you here so we can get that done. Right now, I'm not taking on additional private clients for resumes. So I'm excited to do it here for free, right? What's better than free? It's interesting. I had a couple people tell me that they don't have resumes. And while a part of me understands, the other part of me is like, you need a resume. You know what I mean? How else is a company going to review your qualifications? But there still are people that don't need a resume in crypto. So let's talk about that. So in order to not need a resume, you've got to have built build or scaled a known product or protocol, right? Help launch, grow a protocol like Solana or Lido or Aave, Uniswap. Your work moved the needle for an entire chain, right? They have a deep VC-backed credibility. So they've worked with tier one crypto VCs like A16Z Crypto, Paradigm or Polychain. And when they're looking for a job, founders make room, right? They're cross-chain ecosystem fluent, right? They know devs on Avalanche and DAO leads on Arbitrum, validators on Cosmos, and investors across L2s. So they actually get access to jobs before they're even posted. Some other people that don't need resumes they speak on spaces, they speak on stage, and they host spaces, right? So they're seen at Token 2049, Mazari Mainnet, ETH Global. They host Twitter spaces that actually move markets and get people to come, unlike mine. No one comes to my Twitter space, but that's fine. I'm not offended. I'm not sad. It's fine. Anyway, so basically that's thought leadership, but with receipts, right? GitHub, Wallet, Substack is the resume if they're more technical, right? So they ship code that gets forked. They publish token frameworks with economic models others build on. They don't need a PDF when your work is on chain or on chain adjacent. And so anyway, the TLDR is if your name rings out, your work speaks for itself, and your network works while you sleep, you don't need a resume. But most of us are not being talked about within the crypto community. They're really looking for someone that has a great reputation. We've got a client. Why am I blurry? I hate that for me. Hello, Antonio. So we've got a client that is back channeling every candidate we send. So what I mean by that is we present a resume, they go to their advisors and they say, hey, do you know Joe Schmo? And if they do know Joe Schmo, that's a green flag. If they don't know Joe Schmo or they've heard mixed reviews about Joe Schmo, that's a problem. So you need a resume, guys. You need a resume. And your LinkedIn profile, I hope LinkedIn's not watching this because then they're going to shut us down. But you need more than your LinkedIn profile. I get so many hiring managers that feel that when you send just your LinkedIn profile, it's like you didn't try. Even though you may have put a bunch of work into your LinkedIn profile, that's the impression that it sends. Matt, hello, Matt. Welcome. Looking for my next role as a marketing manager. Hope to get in touch with you soon, Emily. Blessings, my friend. Well, we are in touch. What questions do you have for me that I can answer for you? Do you want me to take a look at your LinkedIn profile? I am down. Let me know. It was funny. I was thinking the other day, there's a lot of crypto recruiters out there. When I started, there was 3 crypto recruiters on the internet. Crazy. And now there's 1,000. So the challenge that I have right now is, there's plenty for all of us, right? I'm all about sharing the wealth, really helping people gain more experience, supporting other business owners. But here's my challenge. These recruiting firms that are getting into crypto don't have a true passion for crypto. They just see it as an opportunity to grow within an industry. And that's incredibly frustrating because those of us that have that genuine passion and that genuine care for what is crypto's next step and how do we advance this industry, like it just gives us a bad look. So when these big recruiting firms are getting into crypto, I'm like judging. The other challenge that I have is, if you're a new recruiter or if you're not a recruiter and you start a recruiting firm, a lot of times these recruiting firms don't know what they're doing. So they'll come into a client, they'll oversell and underdeliver, and it just makes us all look bad, right? And so when I reach out to these businesses, then they're like, Emily, we don't want to work with you. We've worked with other crypto recruiters in the past. And I'm like, wait, you haven't worked with me yet. So this is kind of a little vent situation here, but like, if you're not a recruiter, I don't know, don't start a recruiting firm. That just makes sense to me, but maybe I'm crazy. Star Sky, but you are the very, very best, Emily. Oh, thank you. That makes me feel great. I try really hard. I think my content has been tanking because I've been trying so hard. I genuinely want to bring value, but I also want to make you smile. And sometimes that's a hit and sometimes that's a miss. Hey, Torsten, good morning. Matt, use me as a guinea pig if you want. I do want. I'm in touch with like 8 recruiters at the moment. Market is hot, hot, hot these months. Glad to see marketers are getting the spotlight these days. Hoping to land my new spot by December. I love that. I also half love that you're working with multiple recruiters, right? It's always good to have more than one egg in your basket. And when you have multiple recruiters, you've got 8 eyes looking out for you, which is amazing, right? If I can find you a job, fantastic. If someone else can help you find a job, fantastic. Goal accomplished. There's only a handful of recruiters that I trust in crypto. One of my tips is you can tell, what's the word I'm looking for? You can tell how ethical a recruiter is based off their interview questions. So if a recruiter is asking you, hey, where are you interviewing? Red flag, don't do it. Don't tell recruiters where you're interviewing because they will take that information, go around you, and try to sell their service to that company. So, Matt, let's say you're interviewing for a marketing manager at, I don't know, one of our Flipside is one of our great clients. And then you tell me, hey, Emily, I'm interviewing at Flipside. I could go to Flipside and say, hey, I hear you're hiring a marketing manager. I've got some killer candidates. I'd love to introduce you, right? Not cool, not fair. So just don't tell people where you're interviewing. Keep that to yourself. And if someone really digs in, say I'm not comfortable sharing. I also don't want to jinx myself is a fair answer and a little bit more playful if you're really struggling with it. Matt, we'll take a look at your profile in a minute. Torsten, I think I said good morning. Star Sky, plus, Emily, there are a lot of scammers out there pretending to be recruiters, and they sound like salespeople versus recruiters. The bane of my existence. So we had like 80 fake profiles on our LinkedIn page. We were able to get them all removed, but there are people that are advertising that they used to work with us, and that is not true. So when you're interacting with recruiters, look at their connections, look at their followers, look at recommendations, look at who they're connected to mutually, right? If you're connected to like a bunch of people that you don't know or like that aren't at your level, that's a red flag. But thank you, Starsky, for bringing that to everybody's attention. Adrian. Hi, Emily. I'm a crypto enthusiast and completing my studies soon. Also just done my capstone project using Stellar blockchain, and I'd love to explore XRPL blockchain. Is there any specific blockchain in order to get a job? Like, what are most recruiters looking for in what space? That's a great question. I don't necessarily have an answer for you. We are chain agnostic, so I work with a bunch of different protocols. I don't like to talk about favorites or preferences because I don't want any of my clients to think I'm like one more than the other. And I never want to give financial advice. And a lot of times people will take that and be like, okay. So I will tell you that right now, the hottest hires are Solana developers. I've got a ton of Solana developers on my plate. Also, we're seeing, I'm trying to think I got to look at my open jobs. Hold on. My brain is mush today. Uno momento. Product is really big, but also GDM, business development, sales. I have like 3 jobs open there, which is kind of incredible. So lots of growth going on across chains. I would be flexible on the chains that interest you. So I have a funny story. One of my colleagues, Teague, who is just one of the best humans I've ever met, Teague got recruited out to Stellar about, was it a year ago now? Which I'm so proud of him, right? I want my people to grow. And listen, recruiting's not like super sexy, but I really like it. But I wanted to support his career goals to get more blockchain into blockchain. But he was like super passionate about Solana, like Solana this, Solana that. Every day I heard about Solana, and then got a job at Stellar, which I think is great, right? And now he's really big and bullish on Stellar. So I think being flexible in the chains that interest you is really important because you never know. You never know. Mr. Miner, I don't want to be a recruiter, but I keep coming up with the talent. Does anybody in this space share? Share what? Share talent? I'm confused. Chain agnostic is good, Torsten. Yeah, absolutely. Finn, hello. I'm so glad that we were chatting yesterday. I'm glad that you came. I forget what you were asking, but feel free to leave a comment on what you'd like to get done today. So what I need to do, guys, is I need to open this LinkedIn blockchain brunch on LinkedIn. So you may hear a noise while I open it because I've got to be able to see your comments on click on your profiles. So uno momento. Let's do this. Okie dokie, artichoke. Beautiful. All right. So, Mr. Matt, let's talk about your profile. Can you leave a comment? So one, I can talk about your profile without showcasing it, but if you could write in the comments if I have permission to screen share, that would be even better. So let me know. If not, totally fine. Let me know about that too. David, Emily, I've spent my career in traditional banking and fintech payments, have been dabbling in Bitcoin and crypto, and would love to bring my experience to a crypto blockchain company. Not sure where to start. David, I can help you. Not sure where to start is totally fair. I mean, it's crypto. There's a million things you could possibly be doing. I don't know where to start every morning. So I hear you there. I'm trying to see if Matt's going to reply first, and then we can go to David. Matt, go for it. Beautiful. All right. I think I got to resize my screen here. Hold on, because I've got a big screen. I've got 3 giant screens, so I don't want to make it like too small. Hold on. I got to close all the stuffs so no one sees all the confidential stuffs. Share screen. Okay, one day I'm going to get really good at this. All right, add to stage. Bada bing, bada boom. I never said my singing was good. Nor am I a graphic designer. I do have an interview prep document, which I think is pretty spicy. So if you are, look how cool this is. If you're interested in that interview prep, let me know. So Mr. Matt, let's talk about your LinkedIn. Number 1, I see you're in Brazil. 2, I like your custom button. 3 ways I can help you grow. I might steal that. Head of community content marketing manager, business development. I'm looking at your tagline. So the one thing I will say is you've got 3 to 30 seconds to make an impression off your LinkedIn profile. 3 to 30 seconds. So I want someone to come to your profile or accept your connection request based off your tagline. So head of community in what? Is that Web3? right? Content marketing manager. We could do blockchain content marketing manager. And instead of business development, I would do ecosystem partnerships. You can keep BD, but I think, the industry is leaning more towards partnerships. Let me just make sure this is working. Okay, beautiful. So business development, social content management. What I would love is more information on the meat and potatoes, right? When someone comes to your profile and they're considering you for opportunities, they want to understand in 3 to 30 seconds if you're a fit for the role, right? And if I'm looking at T3RN, I don't know how to pronounce that. Apologies. But business development, great. But tell me more about the business development. Tell me more about your metrics, your numbers, your socials. What platforms were you managing? What was the following count? Marketing team, ETH Warsaw, beautiful. But let's talk about what you're doing there. This is a little bit closer to where we want to be. Leverage business development and growth opportunities to expand MPM Labs ecosystem. A little bit better, but dive more into that. Meat and potatoes. Educate the reader about your background. Because if I'm looking at 2 resumes, one of them is built out and I understand what they do. The other is not built out and I don't understand what they do. It's a guessing game. I'm going to spend more time with the person that has a resume that's more built out because they're a closer fit for the job, right? And you got to think about timing, right? And people's motivation. So internal recruiters, someone that works specifically for one company and recruits for that one company, right? They've got a deadline. They've got to support their internal hiring managers and they've got to find this person quickly, right? So looking at 2 resumes, they're going to choose to spend their time. Hey, Trev. They're going to choose to spend their time with those that have more information, right? So if I've got 2 resumes, I'm not necessarily going to give someone without the details a chance because there's so many people where it's just a better fit, right? Even though you might be the perfect fit, they might not be able to figure that out. So let's build this out. I love that you don't have your dates of education. That's critical, right? Your age doesn't matter. And this is going to tell people how old you are. Your age should not determine your salary or the level of position that you accept. One of the things I think would be helpful for you, Matt, is some recommendations. Community marketing, business development, talking about like showing that you have people vouching for you, I think is important, right? Especially in BD. One of the things I'm noticing about your background is, 11 months, a year, almost 2 years, which is good. So I think, that could be a little bit of a red flag. So kind of explaining what happened at those companies, but getting the recommendations from them, verify that not only are you a real profile, because that's half the battle these days, but also that you did a great job. So if you do have short stints, ask someone for a recommendation because that helps, right? Especially if it was something that like was a really short experience. And sometimes that just can't be helped. Trevor, how you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. Hold on one second. Matt, was that helpful? Let us know. Okay, Finn is asking, hi, Emily. I was curious about which roles I could get immediately and which would be a stretch given my research developer background. Great question. Let us find out. Did I really close this page? I did, didn't I? Okay. Let's look at Finn's profile. All right. So interesting. I'm just looking at where you come from. So listen, the transition into Web3 is not easy. It's probably one of the most difficult industries to get into next to like aerospace. And the reason why is there's not a lot of people that have the experience. So they're going off passion. Whoop. They're going off knowledge and passion and drive and like, similar experiences, right? Transferable experiences. So you've been a freelance software engineer for about 3 years. I would try to get more into the weeds about the apps, right? What you're, I don't want to like let you down. I think it's going to be a tough transition. As a research associate, I mean, You could go into venture research. But from your resume, you know, and I've been doing this for 5 years, I'm not exactly sure where I could fit you without the experience in crypto. So what I would suggest for you, Finn, is we need to network a lot more, right? Someone's going to have to give you an opportunity. And something that's really frustrating for me is people forget that a company is not just going to give you a job to give you a job, right? They're not just here to have people sing kumbaya and sit in a circle. That's just not how the world works, right? And I feel like some people are like, oh yeah, I'll get a job. And it's like, you might not. Companies aren't just hiring you to do you a favor. You have to show where you bring the value. How are you going to affect that company's bottom line? So I think in your case, Finn, I would really focus on networking and getting to know people, because someone's going to take a risk on you and you have to give them a reason to take the risk, right? Hiring someone without crypto experience is a risk. They could work out, they could not work out, they could burn out from crypto. So you have to position yourself, hey, I need an opportunity. Here's why you should give me that opportunity. And here's what I'm going to do to make sure I take full advantage of it. So that's what I would suggest there, my friend. I hope that was helpful. Matt, these are super helpful action items. Taking notes here in the background. How do I get recommendations on LinkedIn? You just ask. You just go to someone and you say, hey, Joe Schmo, would you mind writing me a thoughtful recommendation on LinkedIn? I think that's going to be critical. And then on LinkedIn, it's just you go to more on your profile and then you post request recommendation on that person's profile, but ask them first. Don't just send the recommendation request. You know, have a conversation about it first, because at the end of the day, they are publicly putting their name on your profile. Adrian, thank you, Emily. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And you're right. I need to familiarize myself in different chains. Absolutely. The more, the merrier. LinkedIn user. Who is this LinkedIn user? Hold on. And I wish the thing would scroll up. Where are we here? Who is that? Hold on one second. I'm trying to find this comment so I can say hi to you appropriately. It was after Adrian. John, it's really good to see you here. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And I also appreciated everybody that came to our event yesterday. Okay, so not all the comments are coming through on StreamYard. That is frustrating. Matt said a lot of the companies simply ran out of funding because the bear market struggle. Absolutely understood. That's where that recommendation will help. I see. Okay, so it is another Matthew. Hi, Matthew. That said, you have to show where you bring value. That's critical. I mean, it really is. Hector, good morning, my friend. Star Sky, Emily, are there any crypto blockchain companies that are in need of a SEO analyst, artificial intelligence optimization experience, generative engine Sorry, the words are just so small. This is not a social, of course. This is organic search and AI search related to crypto and Web3 companies. I'm totally experienced in this and would love to offer solutions. Star Sky, what an amazing comment. What an amazing way to shill yourself in a hard shill way, right? Do you need help? Do you know any companies that need this? You know, this is where I'm an expert. I think that was a perfect message. Do I know anybody? Not at this time, but you are always on my mind and I will keep you in the loop. Finn, absolutely happy to help. Louise, are things cooling off for August? Honestly, girl, no. Like I would love to sleep for more than 5 hours, like one day. We will get there. Ask Trevor. I mean, ask the entire team. How many years was I pulling all-nighters? Like three years, and it was like one all-nighter a week because we were working with APAC, and we were doing some work in UAE, and it was just constant. It's just 24/7, and I feel like a lot of people don't know that about recruiting. Like this is.
I don't think I've slept since like COVID.
I mean, that's when we started the company, so yeah. I would. Things are not slowing down. So even today, 2 of my friends reached out to me about hiring. Three, actually. One of them is hiring a quant. The other one is hiring a marketing manager. The other one is hiring a head of product today. So those conversations will be happening this week, at the end of next week. So no, things are not cooling off. If anything, they're ramping up. Incredible. BRB, will I take another Adderall? We'll just keep that between us.
I've had a bunch of conversations recently with people. It's nonstop that people want to get in this industry. But I think that one of the biggest questions that most people don't focus enough time on before they want to get in the industry, you have to be able to answer why.
Yeah.
And it can't be like, I want to get rich. That's not gonna make it. Like a lot of people will get pleasantly surprised that it's not as easy as they think. So if you're not able to thoroughly convince yourself or your friends or other strangers about why you want to get in the industry, never approach a recruiter or a hiring manager, because you're just gonna spin your wheels. And if you're not really clear in your vision of what you want to do, you're just going to continue to kind of chase your tail around and around in a circle. So focus on the why, and more so even like the what, and kind of alluding to what we were talking about earlier, what your value is. And that's going to speed up your process of being able to make the transition, which is very difficult, but not impossible, a lot more. So focus on those two questions and answers.
Very difficult, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is like incredibly difficult to transition. But on Trevor's point, recruiters, we're different. We're different. Ooh, we're different. We want to help people be successful, right? Again, if I can help you find a job, great. Someone else can help you find a job, great. Mission accomplished. We host these blockchain brunches to bring value to you, your resumes, your LinkedIn profiles, strategies, information. But at the end of the day, like, you've got to be passionate about this space, and you've got to know the direction that you're going. Can you be flexible? Absolutely. But a recruiter's job is not to get you a job. So you need to come with that direction for the recruiter, saying, here's what I'm targeting, here's what I'm interested in, here's why I'd be a good fit. Right. Especially
And never, ever, ever say, I'm open to anything. Like, you think that might be helpful, but like when recruiters hear I'm open to anything, it's kind of like makes me want to get a root canal. It's just like, anything, you're open to anything. And like, realistically, people, like, you're not open to anything, right? Like, you wouldn't go and pick up snails like on the street just to get into crypto. Like, you have to have some kind of idea. And a recruiter is kind of like, your partner. A recruiter is someone
like a BFF.
Yeah, a recruiter is someone that's there to help you. But a lot of people, unfortunately, like, I feel like they want to put in like 1% of the effort and get like 99% of the results. Like, it should be truly 50-50 at minimum, but more so it should be you doing 51% of it and 49%. You should be doing most of the heavy lifting and a lot of the work and doing all of these activities, and the recruiter should be there to like essentially supplement you. And you should build a relationship with a couple of like really solid recruiters like us. And there are others out there as well too. But when you're putting your time and energy into it, you gotta come hard. You gotta come hard for sure.
Wow, it's only 10:43. It feels like much later. So we had the live event yesterday, and then we had blockchain brunch today. So at the end of yesterday, I was like, gosh, what a difficult Wednesday. I was at my office from 8 to 8. And then I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, wait, today is Wednesday. The days usually fly by, but we've got a lot of people that are interested in new opportunities, which is very great, very exciting. But it's hard for me, at least, to have conversations with people that are so devastated by not having a job right now or not having any luck in their job hunt. And it's not that I don't want to have these conversations, it just weighs heavy on me. So we've been having, and I find, when you listen to someone in tears on the phone with me, right, it takes a lot out of you. So anyway, I thought it was Thursday, but it is Wednesday. So it's just some really tough stories out there. So just know, guys, whatever you are experiencing, you are not alone. You are not alone at all. There is always someone out there walking in your same shoes. And, Blockchain Brunch is a great place to network with people. A lot of people in our audience are job seekers. There are a couple hiring managers in here. Send out connection requests after the Blockchain Brunch or during. Feel free to be like, oh my God, isn't Emily fabulous? Great way to build rapport. Or isn't Trevor fabulous? So yeah, that's what I would say. Let's see here. Trevor, anything you wanted to touch base on with that?
There were some people that were just talking about that, I've been looking for jobs, I've been striking out. One of the things that someone told me when I was first starting out in recruiting is like, I remember I told like one of my managers, like, there are no more candidates. They're like, I searched all the database. There's no one else. There's no one out there. There's always someone else out there. So, when it comes to jobs, I think a lot of it is that most people, you're just kind of going to a job board and looking for jobs. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. It takes sometimes companies 3 to 6 months to either get funding or to kind of formulate their plans or to build their infrastructure, their product. And then once that's built, then the hiring for those particular activities comes 3 to 6 months afterwards. So, or, even a month or so after you get funding, 1 month to 3 months. So instead of just being, I would say, the passive job seeker, when you're waiting for a job to hit a job board or for a job to be posted on LinkedIn or any other platform, by the time a job hits, you are guaranteed that there are going to be hundreds, if not thousands of applicants within 15 minutes of that job being posted. And sometimes you could be the perfect candidate, but if you happen to be applicant number 900, most organizations aren't going to look at all 1,000 applications. So, you're putting yourself at a disservice, or you're putting yourself at a higher likelihood, or it's going to be harder for you to get that job, not the likelihood per se. So if you're trying to get a job, it's better to be proactive and to be able to understand, what's going on with the organization, where they are in their roadmap, so that you can proactively approach them before the job hits. I know that's hard, but there are different ways that you can do that. You can have conversations internally with people on the team to kind of just, chat with them, say, hey, is anyone hiring on your team? I know that you're trying to do X, Y, Z, or you're trying to achieve this next quarter. Are there any opportunities that I can bring value or volunteer or be involved or learn a little bit more or just contribute to the project? There's a million ways that you can contribute. Even if you're just simply like resharing someone's post that you find valuable, like that brings value. So, when people are saying like, I don't know what to do, or I can't bring value, or it's hard, like, just think outside the box. Put yourself in environments and situations that aren't typically in your comfort zone. I like to listen to developers and go to these like boot camps and stuff. And I'm not technical, but it helps me to think outside the box and put myself in the shoes of like what it would be to even recruit or to be someone that's searching for those kind of jobs. I've been definitely much more active on a lot of different organizations. They have dedicated Telegram groups that are really great because there's a lot of people from the community there. There's Discord groups. There's so much out there. There are networking events. There are nonprofit organizations. So, don't limit yourself and don't think that, the sources that you tried are necessarily the end all be all, because there's always someone else out there. There's always more opportunities that are actually, publicly put out there online.
Trevor, you're my favorite. I just hope you know. You're my favorite.
It's mutual, man.
You're coming up on 4 years with us.
Yeah, I was looking back. I thought it was 5. I was like, no, it's not 5. It's 4. So it's coming up a couple of months.
Feels like 5. Feels like 20.
Feels like 20. Well, that's what happens in this space. Last year I didn't have any gray hair on my facial, on my face, but yeah, that's coming up. So that's what happens in the space, folks. It ages you quick, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. It's for all the things that anyone in the industry deals with. They'll tell you, it's not easy, but it's so incredibly rewarding, and to be in an industry with so much more potential. It's the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. So it's all worth it at the end.
You're the best. Always had the best alpha. I'm so lucky for the opportunity to work with you and do this with you. Thank you for always supporting our community. I know it's not always revenue generating, and not all money is good money, but it brings me a lot of, it makes
It
me
makes
very
your soul
happy.
feel good, right?
Yeah, it
When you can
does.
go to sleep at the end of the day and know that you're doing the best possible job to help as many people as possible. I mean, that's why we got into the space. I remember our original conversation, before we embarked in this journey. It's because we wanted to do the right thing, and yeah, it doesn't necessarily in the short term. You'll see people that are, especially organizations out there that are doing quite questionable practices, but people talk, and karma comes back, and we're just trying to do the right thing for the right people, and definitely give as much support as possible to this community and this ecosystem. And as I mentioned before, man, I've done a lot of things. I've wore many hats. I've worked in many different industries. There's still nothing that is as rewarding as this space. So for anyone that's out there, for all the hard things and heartaches that you're going through, all of us have done it, and we're here. And it's more than us as well too. As you mentioned, there are a lot of people in this community. Reach out to them, right? Like, I'm not going to name any names, but I know there are a lot of people that have gone through personal heartaches, right? Like, at the end of the day, we are still real people. So remember that as well too, and lean on other people to support you. But if you're going to ask for support and you're going to ask for help, you can't be selfish. You have to give it back when you're in the opportunity to do so.
Hector had a comment, how do I get a yellow hoodie? That's a great question.
0.5 ETH.
1 ETH. Yeah, I would. So it's so funny. Happy to send you one. As long as you promise to wear it. I promise. It's so comfy. Like, so there's this guy named Tyler. Oh my God. I've been working with him for 5 years. Gosson, and he does custom merch. So all of this was cut to sew, I think it's called. So like we did this design with the neck because I'm in Chicago, Trevor's in Boston. So this like covers your ears and your neck, and it's so cozy and warm. I'm all about comfort. Speaking of comfort, I literally have to move because my back is screaming right now. So hold on. Okay. It's still moving. Okay, there we go. Better. Sorry, my back. It's been a whole thing. I'm so grateful for ErgoQuest. Let me just, because this is so much fun. ErgoQuest, zero gravity workstation. But seriously, I am so grateful for them. It really allows me to get more done throughout the day. And I just get to be comf. I love it. I love it. So Trevor, oh crap, it's 11. That's wild. We do have another half hour, but in 15 minutes, I've got a client call for that quant. Do you hold on? I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries. One of the things too, guys, that anyone have any questions coming up, staying positive is the name of the game. Positivity. You have to, it's kind of one of those things. I found that even if you're not having a good day, right? Because let's be real, we all have them.
We all have bad days.
We all have bad days. We all have ups and downs, right? But I found that your mind is a very interesting thing, and your subconscious, it doesn't know how to differentiate different words that you say to yourself. So if you're feeling down, the last thing that you want to say is like, I'm feeling down, or like, this isn't going to work out for me, or I'm having a hard day. Like, when I have those kind of feelings creep in my mind, I say nothing but positive things. I say, I know this is going to work out. I know that I'm going to be in a better position, and can continuously repeating yourself. And at first, when you start doing it, it's like feels cheesy, and it's like, you're like, this is BS. This isn't going to work. But then all of a sudden, like, the moment that you're at your lowest point, you get a phone call or you get an email from someone that like you didn't expect, and you're just like, wow. And then that small little gesture, that small kind of behavior, it starts to kind of snowball, and continuously saying it to yourself, like, I wake up every day and I'm just like, I'm going to have an amazing day. I'm going to have an amazing day. I keep repeating it. I go on a run. I say that like literally nonstop. People are probably looking at me like I'm crazy. But then when I get done with my run, I'll get an email from someone, or I'll get a response from a client that wants to do business, or someone that reaches out to me that I didn't even expect, so you have to, it's like that saying, right? Like you have to fake it till you make it. And that's not only going for your profession, but that's going for like your positive, kind of being your own personal coach. You have to, like, no one else is going to do it for you. So you have to like even psych yourself into believing it. And then once you start believing it and starts actually happening, then you build more confidence. So start slow, take it one step at a time, and don't try to like achieve everything in one day. If you can get 0.01% better every single day over time, that starts to compound, and you'll be shocked, if you start just doing small activities every single day, how much that pays off. And there's this rule as well too, that I think some Marine or something said that was like the 40% rule. So like whatever you think your limit is, realistically, you're probably only about 40% there. So this can be done for like when you're working out. This could say like when you're trying to apply for a job and you're like, I've applied to 100 jobs, I can't do more. You could do more. I've had so many interviews. You can do more. You can always do more. So like challenge yourself, push yourself, and do more, and lean on yourself for sure.
Best advice.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that is what.
And it worked.
But I will tell you, Trevor, you're the most positive person on the team. You're even above me. Like Trevor holds down the vibes on the team, which is, I love our team. I mean, I really do. And what's interesting is like, it's not interesting, but like there's this like vibration, energy, like it's just the machine is cooking. The machine is cooking over here, guys. And it feels really good to work with people that we like. And that was, I don't know if you remember our first interview, Trevor, but it doesn't feel like work when you like the people you're working with. And that's why we really focus on not necessarily skill at the Crypto Recruiters, but personality. I feel like someone can learn anything, but you can't be taught how to be a good person. That's
the
just
passion aspect as well too, as you mentioned, right? Like without the passion, I don't think I could have survived in this industry.
No.
If you don't have that passion, like if you aren't almost like obsessed with this industry, if you can't stop, like I can't stop thinking about this industry. Like when I'm with my friends, I'm thinking about it. Like I'm not talking about it, but I'm thinking about it. Right. The markets unfortunately don't affect me anymore because I've just kind of like I've emotionally got matured not to let that impact me. But I think about those kind of things, right? Like I'm thinking about legislation, what's going on with governments. It's like if you don't have that same kind of passion, you're not thinking about this 24/7, 365. Like for real, I don't think it's the right fit for you. Because like you need to have that kind of intensity. You have to have that kind of passion. You have to be obsessed with this, because if you're not obsessed with it, you're going to be spending way too much time in the trenches, and it's gonna burn you out. So when you have that passion, when you have the love for it, that's what is able to continue to keep you riding these waves. And there are many waves, and there's dark times, there's light times that come from that when you go through the darkness. And I think that those trials and tribulations build your character, and that's what makes someone successful in this industry. If you talk to someone that's been in this industry for more than 6 months to a year, I guarantee they've seen probably every market condition, every up and down. They've dealt with things that like you can't even plan for stuff. And also too, I think that you have to be prepared that how you enter the space is not indicative of where you're going to go. And this can be in a very short amount of time. It can be long term as well too. But you have to continuously be upselling yourself and getting better. And if you're comfortable, you have to become uncomfortable you have to become comfortable being uncomfortable in this industry because it's changing and you have to continuously be becoming a better version of yourself. So version of yourself from yesterday, it's already outdated. There's already someone out there that's already trying to get better than that. So continuously pushing and driving to not only push others to get better, but making sure that you're holding yourself accountable as well.
Perfect advice. Okay, guys. Telegram, great. But if you have a question or a comment, leave it in LinkedIn. I really don't want to check my Telegram while I'm on LinkedIn. So like if you have a question, leave it here. But yeah, I mean, I just got a DM about how difficult the job hunting process is. And like, we've all been there. All of us, Trevor, me, we've all been there. Adarsh, I'm getting your messages. Comment on LinkedIn, my dude. Comment on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it is difficult. It is difficult, but like, yes, that's a part of it, right? You know, I feel like, and this is not a knock to anyone. Anyone's listening, please don't take this personally, but you know, I've had more conversations more recently, and especially when the markets start turning around, then everyone comes out of the woodworks and wants to get into crypto, and you know, that's great. But you know, I've had a lot of people that have been approaching me, and I feel like they're spending more time talking about the problem than actually doing actionable items that's going to help them solve the problem.
it's
Right? Like,
painful.
okay, you have a problem. I understand that. But like, if you're not doing anything to solve it, like, realistically, how do you expect it to get better? And it gets to a point where like just talking about it, like, it's not going to change anything. You have to do something. And that's just kind of the matter of the fact, right? So like, yeah, you have to apply to a lot of jobs. Yeah, you have to tweak your resume. Yes, you have to go to networking events. Yes, you might have to take a pay cut. Yes, you might have to volunteer. Yes, you might have to do an internship. Yes, you might get rejected for a job. Yes, you might hear no. Yes, you might hear maybe. Yes, you might hear yes. Like, these are things that are a part of it. So if that's uncomfortable for you, or if you're having challenges doing that, like, I don't want this to sound harsh, but like, realistically, it might be time for you to have like that aha moment, come to self moment, and like think like, is this something that you really want to pursue? Because like, if the job search process is beating you up and it's defeating you, I guarantee you that when you get in the industry, it's going to be 10 times harder than anything you ever expect. So we want to be real with you, and let you know that like, this is what to expect. And it is hard because like, this is an industry that what would you say, 3% of people in the world actually know about crypto? 5%? Like, to truly know about crypto or the blockchain or Web3, about the technology.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get into an industry where it's like 5% of the world, let's say 10% of the world knows about it or even heard of anything about it. Then within that, then it's like, what percentage of people are actually working in the space? How many companies are actually hiring? So like, you're trying to get into like the top 1%. So if you're trying to get in the top 1%, yeah, it's going to be really, really hard, but keep going, because like, we've all done it, and we're not like some special type of individual except for our dedication and passion and all the things we've been talking about. But like, just keep going, guys. Don't let this defeat you. That's probably my final word of advice. Do not let it defeat.
So one of the things I want to talk about is Telegram. Torsten hoodie giveaway. Oh my God, don't make me go to my storage locker and pull out all my hoodies. I just put them into storage, but I will go for you. So Telegram is great, but personal, and like, I get it. It's like the whole Web3 thing and I support it, but I'm a phone girl and I want people to call me. I want to be able to call people. Text is the best way to get a hold of me. But I just think it's interesting that everybody uses Telegram when it's like, not everybody checks their Telegram. I know for me, it's sometimes hard to keep up, but like, you send someone a text message, unless you're my fiance who's got 300 unread text messages. I don't know how he does that. That gives me anxiety. But to be fair, I've got a lot of unread emails. Not that I'm doing that on purpose. It just keeps coming.
It's like the post office. This like messages, they keep going, they keep on coming. But that's a
Telling
good
you,
problem to have, right? Like
it's
these
a
are
great
these
problem
are
to
these
have.
are great opportunities. Yeah, for sure.
And the opportunity to help people is incredibly rewarding. You know what I mean? But it's also like chill.
It was so funny.
Anyway,
So I met someone yesterday. This is a funny story. But I met someone actually that was through the Boston Blockchain Association, and we were just having a conversation about my journey, how I got into the space, yada yada. And we were walking through Boston, and the funniest thing, like we were talking about crypto or blockchain, and then like a random guy that was at the corner, I don't know what he was trying to sell. He was trying to sell something, but he stopped in like mid conversation. He goes, "Oh, I know about crypto. I got some meme coins." And I was just like, "Oh, yes, yes." I okay, cool, awesome. It's just really funny, man. Like, how people hear about this industry. And I think that can be what gets a lot of people attracted into it is the potential to make a lot of money. Meme coins are great, right? But there's so much more to it. There's a lot of this technology that is going to be used to change the way that finances. It's going to change the way that we live as human beings in our society. It's going to be much more than just trying to make a quick buck off of some random token. There are people out there that have been successful with that, and it's not no knock on that for sure. But if you really want to set yourself out and differentiate yourself, especially if you're trying to transition to the industry, try to figure out what are real world problems that this technology is solving right now. How can it make something better? There are so many different things out there. There's remittance payments. There's the velocity of money that's going to be sped up. There's the trust element that is taken away when you have blockchain, so that you don't have to trust these random parties. You can use computation and cryptography to have it proved. Like there's just so much more. So when you're thinking about that, think about what you're doing, or what is an industry or anywhere that you have transferable skills. It could be healthcare, it could be biotech, it could be pharma. There are companies right now that are doing work in that space, right? Like that's how you're going to separate yourself. That's how you're going to prove your worth. And I feel personally that's the kind of technology, and those are going to be the kind of projects that stand the test of time versus just some random pump and dump coin out there. So that's just my 2 cents.
thanks, Trevor. I appreciate it. Good 2 cents. Yeah, my cousin was, I don't really like talk to my cousins. And he was like stalking me on LinkedIn. He was like, "Wait, you're into crypto?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've been doing this for 5 years." He's like, "I'm into crypto." And it was all like meme coin trading. And I was like, "Do you know what a layer one is? Do you know what a layer two is?" That's none of my business though.
Have you read a white paper?
Yeah. Do you know what a white paper
You know
is?
what a white paper is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny. But
Yeah,
whatever can get people in the space, it's all good. Whatever your gateway drug is into crypto, we welcome you. We're here to support you, whatever your journey is, because there's obviously really good opportunities in that space as well too. So we are not crapping on meme coins. Please don't be blowing me up or hit me up on Telegram saying that Trevor hates meme coins. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying that there's a lot more to it out there. So don't limit yourself to that. Think outside the box.
beautiful. I'm sorry. I'm getting so many, again, text messages.
Oh,
I
I
got
know what we can do.
Yeah.
Let's remind people of our we're gonna do this every session until we get like 1 million followers. Let's bring up our YouTube channel.
Beautiful. Let me bring it up.
Bring it up, bring it up. There are some
I
people out there that are actually listening to us. I do appreciate the few people that actually like subscribed and are liking our content and resharing our content. That's it's doing nothing but helping you guys and the rest of the people out there. So spread our message and continue to keep it going, folks. Keep it going.
I've been using the company account because it's paid for YouTube, so I don't have to watch the ads. So like There's some crazy stuff on there right now. Danielle, if you're watching, our marketing assistant, just ignore all the videos that I've been watching. The screen. Or like Danielle uses my ChatGPT.
And you're like my history.
Ignore this
You know,
chat.
also
Ignore this
too,
chat. Oh God.
I
All
found
right.
that if you use if you use Brave browser, it for YouTube, it actually doesn't show any ads.
Really?
Yep. That's that's like one of the main. So whenever I'm like geeking out and crushing through YouTube videos, I always use Brave because there's no ads.
Pro tips. I like that. I like that. Yeah, because ads are the bane of my existence. Interesting. I will have to try that. Yeah, I'm looking at our YouTube page right now, and there's a new Avatar movie coming out. In case anybody was interested, and there's a trailer on YouTube. I was very excited about that last night. But yes, follow us on YouTube. You know, we're trying to get more content out there. Not because we want to be influencers. If I wanted to be an influencer, do you think my hair would look like this right now? Like, so we're trying to get more content out there to be helpful. So follow us on YouTube, follow us on TikTok. I got to get back. You know, a lot of our videos have been these events. We got to get back to like making the Instagram videos, like the fun lip syncing, just the fun videos, not necessarily just only alpha. So anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you. I've got to log off. Trevor, if you want to stay on, you're more than welcome. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I got to call it as well too. It's been a long day already, you know, but that's the beautiful part about it. So we're cooking with gas here, folks. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're here every Wednesday. We've been doing this for 5 years. I know that it may sound like we're preaching or like begging people to like this content, but I've been seeing more recently, unfortunately, that on platforms like LinkedIn, I'm just going to say questionable content seems to be permeating the space. And this is a platform for people to find jobs, right? It's a platform to help you get employed. Some of the stuff that I see just doesn't make sense, and I don't understand why the algorithm is doing what it's doing. But we can't control that, and we're going to continue to put out quality content. It's up to you to help us get the message out there, because at the end of the day, like, we're here, right? You want to get here. You want to be like us. So share it with your friends. Tell other people that we're the go-to for this kind of information. And if you're not sharing it, then you're kind of selfishly doing a disservice for not only you but for other people out there as well too. So we're not here every Wednesday doing this for free just for kicks and giggles. We have a lot that we can be doing. Our time is very valuable. So please appreciate that and continue to help us help you.
Everybody, hope you have a great day. Side note, Danielle just DM'd me and she was like, Emily, I hear you. And yes, your ChatGPT is atrocious. Oh my God. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next week. Sorry that we've both been a little low energy. It has been a long week, but we're very excited to be here. So we will see you next Wednesday. Trevor, do you have just shilling?
Possibly.
I'll take that.
Hit that notification bell or whatever on my my LinkedIn profile page, and you will know.
Bye, guys.